Yeah, you were mentioning somewhere in the neighborhood of like 4 hours, 15 minutes, somewhere right in that neighborhood.
For No Sketch, he has at least updated on speedruns.com. He has a time of 4:43:59 for his time on No Sketch, and 3:40 for his time on Sketch. And it appears that our run has already started here. So, indeed, wrong scene, but that's okay. We only missed the first minute and a half of some menus and stuff.
Yep, so as you can see, they are trying to get both Wedge and Vix running away from these battles because they are dirty, dirty experience hogs, and we want all that beautiful experience to go to Terra, better known right now as Question Mark.
Indeed, and in some of the battles, you have to kill off certain enemies, which are tagged as boss enemies, and on either screen you can see that the Vomanus and, well, they're gone now, but the Lobos both have that boss tag, so they have to kill those before they can get Vix and Wedge to run away. And I assume that the TheLCC is probably on step route. I'm not sure about dustsen.
That would probably be a fair assumption that a player of LCC's caliber is going to be on step route again, but I wouldn't know for dustsen or however it's pronounced. I'm probably going to pronounce it Dustin. My apologies to him if that is anywhere close to not correct.
Indeed.
Okay, so LCC is into his Welk fight. He's going to be weight tricking this particular one, and what that involves is manipulating the boss's ATB timer, his action bar, so that while he's in a menu during attack animations, the boss's attack battle bar is not filling up, so that he can get him dead before he goes into his shell.
Right, and the other part of that is that it's actually, you also do some counter canceling. So you attack the shell when Welk would normally take his turn and go into his shell. You attack the shell so that he counters that attack instead, and then his going into his shell turn gets moved to the next turn after his normal turn.
It looks like LCC gets a pretty solid quick kill there, and is on to making Vix and Wedge go away.
And oh dear, uh-oh.
Well, nothing of value is lost.
Yeah, dustsen is having some minor problems with Welk, but Terra dying at this stage is not too bad.
Yeah, you can still get through this fight pretty easily just spamming fire beams at the slug head.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Tech issues. We apologize.
It appears that dustsen has chosen to reset. But I'm not sure if that is because his emulator decided to blow up, or...
Yeah, or it could just be because of the quick kill fail, but yeah, it does look like dustsen. Again, my apologies on the poor pronunciation, but due to Terra's death on Welk. Meanwhile, LCC going through Terra's somewhat origins and getting to the name screen where he's going to remove all of the characters except for one, because every time that there is a dialogue screen and it has to print a character, that eats up approximately 2 frames, and every 2 frames is what, 0.2 seconds?
Yeah, I think every 3 frames is about 0.1 second or something. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure that someone with better knowledge than us, could probably tell us the right numbers one day. But yeah, basically throughout the entirety of the run, if you don't shorten the characters of the names, shorten the names of the characters even, then it will eat up several seconds across an hour and a half run. So
depending on how good your button mashing is, could theoretically be anywhere up to about a minute or so.
Indeed. And over here on Dustsen's side, we see that he is going right through the intro again. He's going to start anew, which is very, very admirable. I look up to this man already.
Yeah, he's got some determination after to go at it again after that unfortunate reset early on at the Welk.
Indeed. And just so you guys know, if you have Terra dead at Welk, it's okay. You can actually continue to keep battling because it's not like Terra gets any EXP during the Welk battle. So she has nothing to lose and nothing to gain.
Yeah, it's not like Bannon later on where if she dies, it's game over.
Right.
She'll auto-res once you meet the Esper later on.
Right. Just like Welk and Wedge and Vix do. So for all of you new players who are watching right now who say, oh man, I would reset too. Actually, it's okay to keep going. I've actually had a run where Terra died and I kept going and it wasn't too bad. It's just a little bit slower.
Yeah, and in these Swiss rounds, the drawings were completely random, so you could have players of very equal skill or very differing skill.
Indeed.
So yeah, that happened to me. Whereas I faced last tournament's champion, and I'm a complete newbie to this run. So yeah, these Swiss rounds are completely randomized in skill levels for this first round. So.
Yeah, and then so the next rounds of the Swiss round for the Swiss 2 rounds, you'll actually be paired against people of similar levels, I believe.
You'll be facing people of similar records, and then I believe they're gonna look into skill levels to an extent.
I see.
I don't know the specifics on that too much beyond, the 1-0s will be facing the 1-0s, and the 0-1s will be facing the 0-1s.
Okay, I see.
I believe there's some math going on beyond that, but again, don't quote me on that.
Indeed, and then there are actually a lot of runners too, for some of our newer runners who ran against similarly new runners but can't do some things. There are actually a lot of runners who are willing to, make compromises for their own speed. Like, for example, if you can't do lock skip, some runners will choose to do lock scenario glitchless together with you so that the race is fair. So here we see dustsen going back through Narshe. So these Lobos actually have a boss tag, so he has to kill both of them, and unfortunately he cannot run away with Vix and Wedge. These encounters are also actually skippable. So over on the LCC's side, he is naming our community thief, treasure hunter, Locke, and Locke will go now to save Terra, who he is very easily convinced by Arvis, the man in the cottage, is not actually an Imperial witch, but just a witch who is being forced to work for the Empire because of the slave crown. Excuse me. So in this upcoming battle with the three parties. I don't know about you, Christopher, but I definitely had some problems, you know, figuring out how to do these battles quickly and easily without dying a bunch in my casual run. But here you're going to see that LCC is just going to avoid all of the battles, and you might be thinking, oh my goodness, well, that's just going to go all the way up to Locke and get to Terra, and then well, you're going to lose. But actually you can get all the way down to Marshall, who is the boss of this particular one, without any problems by walking by the monsters who are walking up while they're moving.
Yeah, and you see LCC just perfectly skipping all of the extraneous battles by walking by the wolves while their leg is in motion, and by doing that, that doesn't trigger their combat sequence.
So here you can see that LCC is removing Mog's weapon, and we're gonna see him use that later on in the run for Edgar. He's going to give that weapon to Edgar, and it's going to help make Ultros a lot safer. Here we see Dustin has a 3-rat battle, but unfortunately he is just going to run away from it. Oh, hold on, I will be right back then. Hopefully my voice is not breaking up anymore. So here we see LCC is leaving, and on the other side, Dustin is taking his revenge on Welk.
And LCC has manned it out of Narshe, heading for Figaro. And I do believe he's on a step route just by looking at it, but I could be wrong.
Oh no, he's on the step route for sure. Sorry. I was looking at Dustin's battle against Welk here. Oh dear. Megavolting Terra.
Oh, and he missed the time. And he hit the tech missile on the shell. Hopefully
okay.
He doesn't reset again.
There we go. Not too bad. Might take another extra turn here, but that's not a big deal.
Nah. He's got this. Meanwhile, LCC has met the king of Figaro, E, as he's been shortened to. And Dustin is in a critical phase here in Welk. Hopefully he's choosing to go straight to the wall here, and hopefully this last fire beam will kill it.
Uh-oh! Uh-oh! No!
Oh, this could be bad. I hope he safety saved. I didn't see if he did. No!
Meanwhile, oh no, poor Dustin.
No.
Meanwhile, LCC is walking up to talk to, I'm assuming she's like a nanny or something, who will tell her about King E's younger brother. What was his name again? Younger brother. Well, we're about to see what his name is. Oh, his name is S. That's right. King E's younger brother S. I assume that their father really liked letters.
Well, it keeps an easy way to keep the name straight.
There, he's walking past the evil chancellor who can get in the way of you walking and waste your time. And now we meet one of many people's favorite characters, or favorite antagonists, rather, Kefka. Kefka is making his escorting soldiers pour sand out of his shoes. And here we'll see if LCC gets the staring contest.
Yes, staring contest is very, very important here. But
unfortunately, it seems that the left man does not want to have a staring contest with the right man. Well, maybe it was because he won last time and he doesn't want to lose this time.
Well, in that case, I declare right soldier the victor.
And here he is walking ahead of Locke, who says, "Follow me." Tara already knows, where she's going. And actually, if you can get into the wall in Arvis's house and get the sprint shoes, none of us actually know how you would do that. You can get ahead of Locke in the next part in the castle as well, and walk past him to dash up to this room. Of course, when you enter the room, he's already there, but...
Locke has shady teleporting powers, and I call shenanigans.
Shenanigans. So I know he's really nervous because he's up against the TheLCC, which is, anyone would be nervous. I would be nervous. In fact, I'm pretty sure that anyone except for the TheLCC who would face himself would be nervous. So, there's no problem at all, being nervous when you're up against another, player of, unspeakable calibers. But, it's okay, because Dustsen is trying to see this through to the very end. I think that's extremely admirable.
It is. It's really admirable, and it's even just nerves being in a race in general. I know, just doing a race of any kind just amps the nerves up. No matter how many times you've run it in practice,
right?
Just the nerves alone just amps it up.
And let me tell you guys, I just got done with my own race, and I was super nervous at the very beginning. And it doesn't matter who my opponent is necessarily. I'm just nervous because I am not sure where I should save. Maybe something could go wrong, and I'm thinking about all of these things that I could try and do to save the run if it does go wrong and I didn't save or something. So, everybody gets nervous.
Yeah, everyone gets nervous. Everyone will make the most basic of mistakes, and sometimes it's just not in the cards. But that's okay. The important part is to keep going and to finish.
Here we have some Dustsen supporters in the chat. LCC's side, we see that he is fighting the Imtech armors by shooting them twice with Edgar's crossbow, and then they're just dead. Edward is from a completely different game, and he likes to hide a lot.
Yeah, Spoony Bards tend to do that.
Fortunately, there are no Spoony Bards in this run. We have some antsy artists, but no Spoony Bards.
Well, there is a Spoony Bard, but he's hiding in a basement in the World of Ruin. But in this run, we don't know what a World of Ruin is.
Indeed. The world doesn't get ruined. We beat Kefka at Narshe, and the world is happy.
Yay!
Yay!
Anyway, but if you noticed during that battle with the Magitek armor and all the way through this the cave to Figaro, LCC will not use magic with Terra because it will spawn a mini cutscene that's about a 40-second time loss. That if you play through casually, I highly suggest you do because it's rather entertaining. Of Locke and Edgar freaking out seeing Edgar use seeing Edgar use magic, but seeing Terra use magic for the first time. So if you ever play this game casually and have never done that, I highly suggest you do it. It's really entertaining for just a quick 40 seconds. Magic, as it's often used for split timers.
And here we see LCC is killing off some monsters in the cave, and every monster in this cave LCC is in is actually worth killing unless it is just 2 hornets, in which case you want to run away.
Yeah, because right at this point, Edgar is just he's the powerhouse of this run. He's going to be our main damage dealer, even when we get Sabin. Edgar competes with Sabin, all fist for fist, arrow for arrow, as far as being our main damage dealer. Especially this early on, he can kill most things with just 1, maybe 2 rounds of his auto crossbow.
I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, the dustsen has just gotten the quick kill on Welk. Even if we cannot hear you, please give him a round of applause. That is some very, very, very awesome work, dustsen.
Yeah, let's hear some GGs or something in the chat for whatever kind of good happy emotes you've gotten. Let's see him in the chat for Dustin getting the Welk down.
And there is no shame to dying to Welk. I have died to Welk many a times. No shame. So here, LCC has gotten some sprint shoes, and he is on his chocobo. Wait, did we ride a chocobo early in the run? No, we couldn't have. The guy tells us how to ride a chocobo. We would have never known how to ride the chocobo without the man telling us how.
Yeah, no, we've never ridden a chocobo before, even though we rode a chocobo from Figaro to the cave to South Figaro. We've never ridden a chocobo before. We absolutely need to learn how to ride a chocobo. We need to be told.
Yes. So, in his preemptive, while running, you saw the LCC queued up an action, and then that actually causes the characters to run a little bit faster. I'm sorry I didn't read into why, but it does.
It does something to mess with the ATBs and the run timers, and it actually forces them to run faster. But here you see LCC grabbing his Atlas Armet and equipping it to Edgar, because the Atlas Armet deals makes them deal 25% additional physical damage, and that auto crossbow is physical damage that comes from the back row to all enemies. So that just makes Edgar even more OP.
And here you see that LCC is switching on that pike that we stole from Mog and trying to get Locke to run away. while he's fighting this encounter of 4 enemies. And we want Locke to run away from at least one encounter with 4 enemies so that Tara and Edgar get more experience. And Locke just happens to run the fastest, usually anyway. So we choose to have Locke run instead of someone else.
Right, and the reason for that is the goal here is to get Edgar to level 10, Locke to level 9, and Tara to level 8, so that Sabin will spawn in at, I believe it's level 9 or level. I believe it's level 9.
9, maybe.
Yeah, I believe it's level 9 or level 10. I don't remember for sure, but that's so he spawns in. I believe with Arabolt.
Right.
Which comes in very handy coming up in the next segment.
And the entirety of the run.
Yeah, basically the entirety of the run. But yeah, that's the goal here, so that Sabin spawns in with that.
So here you see that he's actually running from a preemptive with Trilliums, and in this screen you can actually run from 2 sets of Trilliums because you get the right amount of encounters to get everybody to their proper levels that you want them at while still running away from 2 encounters of Trilliums specifically.
That and Trilliums have that dangerous Bane touch attack which poisons you.
Indeed.
So it's better to run away from those so you're not spending time or magic antidoting those poisons.
You'll see him kill these particular Trilliums here, because he does need the experience. And he queues up an attack with Locke just to make sure, because sometimes Edgar's damage range does not kill the Trilliums. Here he's going to run away from this battle as well. It's very, very fortunate for him that he is getting these preemptives. On Dustsen's side, we see that he's finally getting into the cave, where we're going to figure out a little bit more of Tara's backstory, and Locke is going to go down there to save her.
Yep,
So
Dustsen is coming up on the Marshall tri battle here, so you'll be seeing him robbing a Moogle and saving the girl.
Rob the Moogles, save the girls, and yeah. And then
start on the long journey to save the world.
Indeed. So here Tara and Locke get their last levels. He's going to heal up Tara because she is quite low on HP before he starts up on Vargas. Never be shy about healing, especially in a race, ladies and gentlemen. Safety save and heal.
LCC, though, did bypass the safety save, so... But a player of his caliber, I'm kind of not surprised that he did that. I don't endorse it, but that's, a player of his caliber can certainly get away with it on most occasions.
I didn't safety save, but don't tell Christopher.
I heard that.
No! Oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble. So, LCC makes quick work of the iPoos, which was one of, Apple's glitched up software releases, and now he's taking on Vargas. And with any luck, we'll see him get Doomfist skip, which just depends mostly on Vargas's ATB, but if you weight trick in the right places, you can skip Doomfist, which saves you a little bit of time. Maybe.
Yep, and over on Dustin's stream here, we do see that he's finally meeting the infamous treasure hunter, L.
And L is going to go down and save the Imperial Witch, who is not an Imperial Witch, by... what's the word I'm looking for?
Any
choice.
Stretch of the... Well, I was going to go by any stretch of the imagination, but choice is also a good word.
Vargas
but that's getting into further backstory that we don't exactly reach in this run.
Indeed. And Vargas is just shocked that, Sabin knows that skill already, which is just him punching a bunch. If we were able to suplex him, I feel like Vargas would probably be a little bit more surprised. But Vargas is just shocked that Sabin can punch very, very quickly, and he just dies right there on the spot. And Sabin, tells him that he shouldn't have been in a rush for power because Duncan, who is their master, actually wanted Vargas to be his successor. Which is also backstory that we never really get into.
Yeah. Well, I feel if someone used your face as a speed bag, I'm sure you would want to run away and die too.
Here we see Dustsen going into the tri-battle, trying to get down to Marshall. Unfortunately, getting into a battle, which is okay, ladies and gentlemen, because now Mog can dance. Dance, Mog, dance!
Yes, Mog is the ballerina of the game. He's certainly got the white skin for it, so it matches all of the pretty little tutus and everything. He's even got the fairy wings.
And he's got like a little thing on his head, a little hat or something.
It's like they're already dressed to do the ballet. What's the one that they always do at Christmas?
Dance of the Sugar Plums.
That's one from a bigger ballet. That's just one particular one.
Nutcracker.
Yeah, the Nutcracker. Thank you.
And here, Dustsen is going to take off the pike and the mithril shield, and no dancing, but that's okay. So occasionally you can get snare, which will one-shot Marshall, but that's okay because most of the time Mog decides not to snare and just sends like a frog or a rocks falling on Marshall's head, and well, it doesn't really happen.
Fall on his face.
Indeed. So here we see that LCC is in the Returner's hideout, and he is going to talk to a bunch of people and say yes to Bannon, so he can get that swag gauntlet.
No. He says no 3 times because we really want that YOLO Genji glove.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, always say no to old men, Kaji old men offering you questionable armware. And LCC is going up here to get the True Knight, which he is going to use in Sabin's scenario to block very scary attacks against an almost dead Cyan for reasons that we will tell you of later. So here he's also saying no to Bannon 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times, at least 3 times. So Bannon goes, "Do you want a gauntlet?" "No." "Are you sure you do not want a gauntlet?" "No." "You want a gauntlet?" "No, I don't." "Okay, here, have a Genji glove." And then a soldier comes in, and we find out that something has gone terribly wrong, and we all have to escape from the hideout right away because the Empire is coming. Xcode's calling me out. Never actually tell someone to say no to Bannon in a race. When you are in voice chat with them, they will accidentally say yes. And don't remind yourself to say no to Bannon. Just do what you always do, because if you remind yourself, you will also accidentally say yes. And Bannon just gives you a silly glove and a long cutscene for your hard work. On Dustsen's side, we see that he's finally meeting King E. And on
Meanwhile,
LCC's side, oh, sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, meanwhile, LCC is setting up the seed manipulation for the Elite River, so he only gets 2 encounters by resetting his resetting the console, so to speak. And he's going to be waiting for the, if you watch, and right there. He was waiting for the returner to walk onto the carpet, and then he's going to be jumping onto the raft. And by doing that, he is going to only get 2 encounters on the river.
This is a combination of NPC movement, which causes the river to work correctly, but also seed manipulation, which goes in together with his step route. Oh dear. Well, that's not good. Unless LCC has something else in mind. He just ran away from the battle with the 2 pterodons that he probably wanted to kill.
Yeah, usually you want to kill that finish that battle with just Edgar. So I think that might have been a mistake on LCC's part, because you want to kill that battle with just Edgar so he reaches level 11.
And this is just proof, ladies and gentlemen, that not every runner is perfect. Even LCC is, not completely perfect. So do not worry, ladies and gentlemen, when you are up against a runner who is very, very good. Now he's going off to fight our favorite friend, Ultros. Oh, he might be doing level 10 strats. I mean, he very well might be doing level 10 strats. I just don't know what those are.
Being pointed out by some people in the chat, he might be just trying some different strats here.
Well, don't tease the octopus, kids. And everybody, you should just know that Ultros just wants a hug.
He just wants to hug your face off, that's all.
Well, you should be happy that someone loves you enough to hug your face off. Never mind what they do with it afterwards. He's probably going to eat it.
He just wants to hug you and squeeze you and smother you until you're all dead.
I feel like there was a cartoon about that.
That was Elmira from Looney Tunes Adventures.
That's right.
I feel old now.
I remember watching that as a child. I just didn't remember what her name was. And there, Ultros is gone. He just leaves us. He just wanted a hug, but unfortunately, Ultros did not want to give it to him. Wait. No. LCC did not want to give it to him. I can words. This is okay.
The words left your mouth before the brain had the chance to organize them properly. Don't worry, it happens to me all the time. But yes, LCC denied Ultros his hug. Poor, poor Uncle Ulti.
Poor Uncle Ulti. That's okay. Hopefully in an alternate universe, he gets a picture drawn of him. And as Yagamoth points out, Ultros Boogie is an amazing song that you can look up on YouTube. It is awesome.
And now we move on to the 3-scenario version. And in this run, we always do Sabin first. Not because it's the long one, but because at the end of it, we can buy smoke bombs.
The smoke bombs are always your friend. And smoke bombs will allow us to run from any encounter, whether it be a back attack, a pincer, or just a normal encounter. We can use a smoke bomb to run from all of them. And that is very important. Here LCC is teaching me how I can adjust my step route to save some time.
You'll notice that LCC did not bother to rename Shadow because in this short of a run, Shadow doesn't have enough dialogue to warrant changing his name. You'll most likely, unless you're extremely well versed and well practiced in doing it, you'll most likely end up costing yourself more time than you'll save by shortening Shadow's name. So in this kind of a run, most people will just leave Shadow's name as is.
Indeed,
Meanwhile, on Dustsen's screen, you'll see he's fighting his Magitech armor. Now, one thing that you can do on against these is use Lock to steal some free stuff with that. Otherwise, you can just defend or use the time to rearrange your inventory.
Indeed. And, Luck can steal a potion, but also they can drop some potions, and unless you're very, very worried about what might happen later on in the run, normally you don't really need to have too many extra potions. You usually have enough that you got from the very start of the run to last you the entirety of even a longer category. And here we see Mustache Man, Mr. Mustache Man C. He is also one of the very, very strong characters of the run.
Yes, Mr. Mustachio.
Mustachio. And he has a skill that allows him to counterattack any physical attacks, and we'll see that LCC is going to use that now. And he changes the battle speed from 6 to 1 so that the leader attacks him faster. Also, he gets a preemptive, which is a time save. Ordinarily, the leader would get an attack off before Cyan gets to retort. And with their leader down, all of the other soldiers just run away. They don't know what to do. There's only 3 of them and like 10 soldiers, but they don't know what to do now that the leader is gone.
Meanwhile, Dustin is making his way through the cave to South Figaro here, and he's, again, just like LCC was, killing everything in sight with that auto crossbow in just 1 hit.
And for this reason, Edgar is actually a lot of people's favorite character. He is extremely strong.
Especially this early on in the game. Towards the later end of the game, especially in a casual run, he tends to taper off, but very early on he's extremely strong.
Yeah, but even though he tends to taper off, there is actually some, I think you can get like a rare steal from the cranes of a very, very strong tool for LCC. And Dustin is going to fight the Hornets, but this is the encounter you can run from, and it is pretty much worth it to run from rather than to kill them because their EXP value is quite low.
Meanwhile, over in Camp Cutscene, Counselor Kefka is going to be soon making his infamous Kool-Aid that everyone just loves and says it's to die for.
Oh yeah, I love Kefka's purple Kool-Aid. But the last time I had some, I got very, very, very sick. I guess it was just that good.
You might have gotten a weak batch.
Oh, okay. Indeed, the purple drank. And here, on Dustin's side, we see the man who tells us, rudely informs us how to ride a chocobo after we already know how to ride one. And Dustin is on his way up to Mount Colts. Here, LCC is going to beat up these Templars and soldiers.
Yeah, the general strategy here is to just quickly fight the soldiers here, because they'll generally die in one hit, and then have Shadow throw something at the Templars, generally the air lancet that you retrieved, and then have Sabin suplex the last one. Every once in a while, you'll get lucky, and Shadow will take a hit, and Interceptor will say, no, bad soldier, and bite his head off, and that saves you. That's a little bit of a time save, but it's not something that you can count on. And then Kefka makes his Kool-Aid. Mmm, grapey.
Delicious Kool-Aid. Nom 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 nom.
I do believe Kefka submitted the recipe for his Kool-Aid to the Nominamicon.
Oh, did he? I know that the Nominamicon is a very, very, very delicious cookbook company.
All the recipes in it are to die for.
They are definitely to die for. Unless you make them weak. And then they're just kind of okay.
Yeah, definitely follow that cookbook to the letter. Meanwhile, on Dustin's screen, he's following the basic rule of Mount Colts. If it's inside, run away. If it's outside, kill it.
Oh, and he gets a very nice preemptive against a 4-pack here. And that mostly just saves you. I'm sure it saves you some time, but it also saves you time in not having to heal Terra or anybody else afterwards because they hit you a bunch.
Yep, you get you a dice double time save there.
And for those of you who are not playing on the step route, sometimes killing a preemptive attack on the brawlers can help you reach the level you need to be at more quickly, and without having to take extra steps at Vargas. But it just depends on what seed you're on. I think the biggest rule of Mount Colts is actually don't fight Tuskers ever, unless they're in a 4-pack. Tuskers counterattack all physical attacks, and mostly, like, only Terra and Edgar really have any good fighting skill against them, so Locke is just kind of standing there very useless. And here Dustsen is going to save, for which I do not blame him.
Yeah, with the luck he's had this run, I don't blame him for taking that safety save, as I highly endorse at every good opportunity, take your safety saves.
Meanwhile, LCC is at the kind of like mini boss of this section. He's going to fight against a cadet and 2 grunts and hope that, well, he was probably hoping that Cyan would finally decide to dispatch on something worthwhile, but he did not. And after getting rid of the mini-boss, they are going to find a way out that is going to be very quick and easy for them, and they decide to steal some Magitech armor, because if you were in an Imperial camp, wouldn't you want to ride in the Magitech armor at least once?
Riding in Magitech armor is totally on my bucket list.
Along with riding chocobos and being told how to ride them after you ride one.
No, I don't need to be told how to ride a chocobo. So that's just something that's kind of inherent to me.
here Dustsen is finally up to Vargas. Switching out the mithril pike for the mithril... no, the mithril... well, whatever sword he had for the mithril pike. Mithril blade for the mithril pike. And then giving the mithril blade to Locke. And we see LCC doing some minor cleaning up of his inventory while the other characters are attacking the Magitech armor. And now he is off to the Phantom Forest.
Yes, he's off to the spooky woods. Ghosts and, well, there's no goblins, but there's lots of ghosts and phantoms and all sorts of incorporeal creatures. Yet you can still hit them with swords and claws and knives and stuff. It's kind of interesting.
And he hits the healing spring, which is an automatic kind of like mini event there that always happens. So the game tries to inform you, hey, you can heal here, just in case you want to grind or something in this area.
Meanwhile, over on Dustin's screen, he just has to punch Vargas in the head and use his head like a speed bag real quick, and he will have that fight down. So he's working on getting caught up as quickly as he can, but he might still be losing time just against a player of LCC's caliber.
And well, unfortunately, against Welk, because Welk is a jerk.
Yeah, Welk is a slimy jerk face.
I mean, if we knew any better, we would think that, the returners, or rather the Narshe guards, who are not part of the returners, but the people of Narshe just keep Welk around for some emergency escargot. You never
Personally,
know
not a
when you're
fan.
going to want to eat a snail.
I'd rather eat Ultros.
Octopus is very tasty.
It is, as long as it's cooked from fresh and not frozen. Then it gets rubbery.
This is very true. Here, LCC is going to take a couple of extra steps to get this battle with still going, which is going to take the place of an encounter he would have gotten outside of 4 Whispers, which is not only a waste of time, but can appear on the Veldt. And every Whisper has the chance to do Demi, which halves your HP, which isn't that big of a deal, but Demi has a very, very long animation, and no one wants to really sit through that. Here Dustsen is doing what I did in my run and just ignoring the poison.
Yep, I did the same thing in my run. Just ignore the poison and make a run for it.
And hope you don't get into an encounter. And also hope that whoever is poisoned isn't someone you need. Because in this section, Locke is the only one who can die without, causing you some time loss. If Sabin, Edgar, or Tara die, you actually need to go to the inn, which is inside of the Returners' hideout, and revive them. Because they do not get a revive in the Quiet Heal when you go onto the Leet River. And, LCC's just running away from some ghosts. Sabin's just carrying Cyan and Shadow across the top of some trains. It's not a big deal.
Running, jumping, just saving things.
Just saving things. I don't know if you meant to make that pun, but that was beautiful.
I did not.
He's just Sabin things. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I just killed the unintentional joke. So for everybody who...
Oh, now I get it. Wow, that went over my head. Wow, I feel... I'm going to be quiet in my embarrassment over here. Just go ahead.
It's all right. I mean, I'm over here and I could make bad puns about Shadow and Cyan or whatever, but I don't know.
Unintentional puns are the best puns.
Unintentional puns are the best puns. And then there are people like me who try and pun all the time and never really make good ones.
Well, dad jokes and puns are the best jokes.
They are. I think I found my new best friend. Christopher and I will have to... Christopher and I will have to work on our puns for the next race that we commentate together.
Yes! Hooray! But over on LCC's stream, you saw that he picked up the earrings from the backside of the dining car, so that Sabin can Aura-Bolt even stronger now.
Now he is up to the Phantom Train, and will we see a suplex?
Will he pull into Suplex City? That is the most important question of the day.
I mean, it is LCC. I wouldn't be so... Uh-oh. Oh, no suplex. Yeah, I was gonna say, it is the LCC. I'm not sure that I would expect him to suplex when, he normally runs this game. He's just doing some minor...
Some inventory management.
Meanwhile, Dustsen has gotten his nice new pair of Genji gloves. Now he can hold 2 weapons instead of 1. He is going to take a safety save.
I highly endorse the safety saves. And here on LCC's stream, we're gonna be coming up on the morning sequence here, and that's morning as in grieving, not morning as in first thing in the day when the sun rises.
Interesting. Dustsen is choosing to take this battle.
Well, if he's not on a step route with the proper seed, he might just be ensuring that he's at the proper level.
He may very well be doing that. Uh-oh. Accidentally running with Edgar. But since he is not on any seed manipulation, it is very possible for him to actually find another set of pterodons. But it looks like he's going to choose to just fight this stuff straight up anyway.
Yeah, he might just be running from the pterodons completely.
On LCC's side, we see that he is finally
up to Barren Falls, and you saw that, assuming you didn't blink, that he completely emptied out Cian's equipment and then just re-equipped him with the with his weapon, and that's so he can set up a dispatch glitch here, so that he only has to fight pretty much it boils down to 2 packs of... Is it 1 or 2 packs of these piranhas here?
Oh, just 1. And actually, it's a retort glitch. So he's gonna kill off...
Did I say dispatch?
Yeah, it's okay. So he kills off one of the piranhas. You meant what I knew. Yes, I did. And Sabin here has on True Knight, so when he revives Cyan, who has no equipment and would probably die in 1 hit from this piranha, Sabin will defend Cyan against that if he were to be targeted. Which, of course, is a 50-50% chance that he is. I personally don't ever pick up True Knight, so I always just leave his equipment on, otherwise he will die. And this glitch works in a way where you attack with a physical attack, which is suplex, and even though it misses, it counts as a physical attack that hit. And then, for those of you who did not know, actually, retort is a magic attack. And when he attacks with a magic and physical on the same turn, basically, there's no difference of the turn, it glitches out the AI and causes Rizopas to not appear at all.
And that ends up saving, what is it, 2 to 3 minutes on the run?
Yeah, I think so. If not, it's still a significant amount of time.
And here we meet the dirty little kid raised by wolves, G.
He also has an intelligent look in his eye, and may or may not appear when we want him to. Meanwhile, Dustsen is on his way to Ultros. Do you think he will give Uncle Alti a hug?
I have the sneaking suspicion there will be no octopus cuddles.
Oh, poor Ultros.
I know,
he just
right?
Wants some love.
Yeah, the cephalopod just wants to be loved. He's lonely.
And poor. Very, very poor.
Yeah, he does have a debt to work off.
If you play this casually, kind of following, what Ultra says to you, in the multiple encounters you will have with him, and then later on when you find him in the world of Ruin, it's very interesting to see exactly how poor he is and who he's indebted to. In the speedrun, we don't actually meet him, said person, except for one time in the world of Ruin. But other than that, we don't meet him at all. So if you play the game casually and you want to know all about Ultros, just explore as much as you can.
Yeah, this is a game that I highly recommend that you play more than one time casually. There are so many side quests, so many things to find. This is one game that if you haven't, I again highly recommend that you pick up and you play casually, just for the fun of it. It's one of those masterpiece games that's worth your time.
And here we see that Dustsen is not able to weight trick out of the thing, and he is going to go for the Riot Blade. Will he get Riot Blade, ladies and gentlemen? We can only... Oh my goodness! Uh-oh.
Meanwhile, on LCC, he has found G, and he's into the cutscene where he and Sabin dance for a while, and then they go and find Gao, and Gao explains where his shiny is.
Oh goodness, that was a very, very frightening battle on Dustsen's side, but he survives. He did give Ultros at least 2 hugs, but not anymore. And Bannon survives, which is probably in part to not naming Sabin A, so that we could quietly, very subtly try and tell Ultros to eat Bannon instead of anybody else. So now he is on to his next part of the game, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why you always want to safety save. Just in case. So as Gal, Sabin, and Cyan go off screen here, everybody please get your kappas ready to greet our little green friend, Kappa. For those of you who don't know what a kappa is, it's like a weird, like, green turtle thing with, like a water bowl on its head. And if you ever meet a real kappa, in real life, not the man, but the mythical beast, make sure that you bow to him very deeply so that he knows to bow back and you can beat him up. And that was your Japanese yokai lore for the day.
Funny part is I first learned what a kappa was from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
Really?
Yes.
Now LCC is on his way to the trench, and he is going to take a safety save. I do not blame him. Even on step route, the trench can be very, very, very treacherous.
Yeah, even on step route, the Serpent Trench is completely randomized. There's no way to control it.
Well, that's not...
It's not entirely true. It's
but all of the encounters can be pincer attacks or back attacks, and that's what you don't want to see, especially a pincer attack. At least you can run away from a back attack, but a pincer attack could get you killed.
Right. From what I understand, the way to control the RNG on the Serpent Trench is almost frame perfect, and there's not very many tells to it, so it's pretty much uncontrollable. From what I understand of it, I could be wrong.
And here you see that our heroes are now jumping into the Serpent Trench. Meanwhile, we will see Mustache Man again. He's going to take care of that leader.
Yep, Dustin meeting Mr. Mustachio, or as Gal likes to call him, Mr. Thou.
Thou, Mr. Thou. In the Serpent Trench, we see the LCC is going to go right at the first fork, and then later at the next fork, he is going to go left.
Yeah, this is one of those areas where you actually kind of want Cian to be dead, because everyone has a different run ATB that's hidden. And Cian's is the absolute slowest in the game because he is a samurai, and samurais don't run.
And also, he's old.
Yes,
you'll find that Strago's run ATBs also feels quite slowly. I'm pretty sure Cian's is the slowest.
From listening to many of the other commentators, they have all said that Cian's is the slowest, but Strago's is right up there behind him because, well, Strago's old.
Yes, and actually it's quite funny because in Locke's scenario, when we have the smoke bombs, you will see that sometimes you want to run because you get a preemptive, but oftentimes you might not be sure whether or not you have a preemptive because Locke's ATB fills so quickly that sometimes at the beginning of the battle, it's already pretty much full, and you're not sure if it's a preemptive or Locke's just trolling you.
Yeah, it can be the same way in Terra and Edgar scenario, if you get a side attack or a preemptive, it's actually faster to just run away normally than to use a smoke bomb.
And here we see that LCC is picking up another mithril pike.
So that means he'll be skipping the Moogle Den in the next Terra's scenario, and equipping both of those pikes to Edgar in the battle at Narshe.
Indeed, that may very well be what it is. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this particular strategy.
Yeah, this was the strategy I used in my run, was to purchase the extra mithril pike, and that's where that's used.
And we have a question here. Who would be crazy enough to attempt to use 2 mithril pikes? And I will tell you, sir, that anybody with a Genji glove is crazy enough to try and use 2 mithril pikes. Also, yes, Gilgamesh.
I was just going to say the same person who's crazy enough to bury his castle in the sand.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see here LCC completely bypassing the vast majority of lock scenario by running up to a specific spot next to where the guard will stand, entering in his menu, holding right, leaving the menu, and walking right on and getting a very close and personal with that guard and running away.
Also known as the guard skip. And you'll see the guard skip in both, all 3 categories. You'll see it in Kefka and Narshe, of course. You'll see it in no sketch, any %, and you'll also see it in sketch %. Any other category, it is not used.
Because in any other category beside those 3, you'll need this person that I can't think of the name.
Maybe Locke will tell us when he fights tunnel armor.
No, because he gets rambled at by some random ghost talking about a runic blade or something.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's not Locke talking to himself?
It could be.
I think Locke's just going crazy. No, there's not another person. There's no one else in Narshe. What are you talking about? That's just silly.
Yeah.
And also
there's no one else in South Figaro. It's just Locke running away.
Yeah, and also for those of you who don't know, Final Fantasy VI any %, also known as 52 deaths, doesn't even go up to Narshe or go anywhere near South Figaro past the first time. After Vargas, they meet an unfortunate death and suddenly credits. An unfortunate death, 52 times. Or maybe it's Arvis. That's true, Malf. That's a very, very good suggestion. Perhaps it is Arvis who Locke is talking to, and we finally get Arvis in our party.
I prefer to think of it as General Leo.
Leo? General Leo would be a very, very nice addition to our team.
Yeah. Playing the game is way back when it first came out, I always wanted General Leo in my party.
Still better than Bannon.
Anybody is better than Bannon.
Yeah, Bannon is actually quite strong, though. Ironically, he does hit for quite a punch, but unfortunately, he's just not. He's old and frail. He's just not the young man he used to be. Here Cyan is discovering his dead wife and child, and he is going to go attempt to take revenge on whoever poisoned the water of the castle moat. And I don't know why they drink water from their moat, but I guess we'll never know.
Well, if you think about it, they're just discovering machinery, so I don't think they've discovered water filtration yet.
This is very true. And LCC is going to do this very, very hard maze to remember, and he's just going to hold A and magically get to where he needs to go very quickly. I've also discovered that I think that holding A only works if you are actually facing upwards.
That is correct. I've met that fate once or twice where it is if you mess up and you don't immediately hold up and A, you don't break the security system like LCC just did.
Indeed. So if you're going right or left and hold down A, you will just get a battle and get teleported back to the beginning of the puzzle. We're about to see whether or not LCC really does skip the Rune Blade. He may very well get it. But then who would he give the other thing? Oh, yep, he does skip it. Never mind. We don't need that silly Rune Blade. And here, even though these monsters are lower level, we're still using smoke bombs to run away because they are faster unless we have a preemptive. Dustsen has made very quick work of the cadet and his soldiers, and now he is going to take a ride in the magical Magitech armor. Also, I'd like to point out, like, this scene and then the scene after you take care of the Phantom Train are both amazing in the fact that they thought about the consistency of the run of the animation and the sprites. What was I saying? Whether or not you have shadow or not, making it very consistent. So, Cyan runs off to meet his wife after the Phantom Train, and Sabin gets thrown off the edge, and Shadow will actually jump down after him, so that when Cyan walks by again, there's nobody on the platform. And likewise here, you saw that he went south to pick up some armor.
And here we see that LCC has reached Narshe with everybody, and they now realize that, well, while everyone's meeting up together, they realize that Kefka is going to be attacking Narshe soon, and they need to mount a defense. As Dustin escapes camp cutscene and says goodbye to all of the other campers and counselors for the summer. Meanwhile, Cian discovers that General Kutan and Terror were both former Imperial soldiers and generals.
Oh no, the drama! So after all the complications and stuff inside of Arvis's house, everybody finally decides to go try and stop Kefka. On the other hand, Dustsen has found a train, and he is going to board the train and hopefully see what's there. Here we see LCC. I'm sorry, we see LCC walking around with Terra's dialogue up. I'm sure he meant to do that. I'm just so confused.
And LCC bypassing that rider. Almost like he meant to do it. And getting into the fight with Kefka. And here the goal is going to be to kill him before he reaches that third turn, so he doesn't get the possibility for an all-party Ice 2, which is fairly devastating.
Indeed, and in the worst case scenario, we want to kill him before the fourth turn, assuming that anybody lives through a possible Ice 2. On his fourth turn, he can actually cast Muddle or Drain, which will basically kill anybody who's alive. And there goes Kefka running away, and LCC finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 6 seconds.
Beating his personal best by a minute 11 seconds, so GG to the LCC. And we're gonna look into that. That people in the chat may think that might be a world record. We might have to look in. We are gonna look into that. Give me just.
Let's see. Yes, that is a non-SNES Classic world record. I believe that the world record currently listed on speedruns.com is a SNES Classic record.
And just for those people who are wondering, for this tournament, because of a recently discovered not issue. Well, it's not an issue, but the SNES Classic does not have some of the original lag spikes that the game originally had. The SNES Classic has been banned from this tournament. So only emulators and original consoles are allowed in this run.
And of course, any emulators listed as banned on SRL are also not allowed. LCC is taking us on a world tour. Meanwhile, Dustsen has picked up some earrings, and he is going to try and go take care of this train. Is LCC doing a full run? He might be taking Kutan for a walk. I'm not sure, though.
Hello, welcome.
Oh, looks like we've got LCC in for an interview after we have confirmed that that is a non-SNES Classic world record run. How does it feel?
Fine. Okay. I'm just gonna break the game right now. Just hold on.
Ooh, game-breaking run. Here we go. Let's see.
So while we watch Dustsen take care of the Phantom Train, LCC is just going to give us a little game-breaking exhibition.
It's very, very simple. You go into a shop. You go into the buy menu. Then you back out of it very quickly, and you'll see a bunch of sprites on the screen. They kind of lag a little bit. If you do that twice, it soft locks. There. There we go.
Well, thank you, Mr. LCC, for the beautiful soft lock.
So tell us about that run. Were you nervous at all? Anything?
No.
You know, just another day at the office for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, that NPC was annoying, and the net was annoying, but, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, he did get, not Kutan, who is it? Kupan, I think, at the very bottom, got netted in the Marshall fight, which lost him a very little bit of time. But he still got a non-SNES Classic world record. And
Well, the run Monk had was better than this one, but... I mean, he had all preemptives on the train and perfect cadet fight in the Imperial base, which adds up quite a bit. And everything else was fine, so I'd say his run's still faster, even without the added bonus.
Did you have any idea that you were on pace for setting a new world record, or?
Yes.
Classic LCC, of course I know what I'm doing.
I mean, this is a partial game category, you know, it's like, you call it a world record, but it's kind of, you know, you just get lucky or you don't, for the most part. Anyway, I'm leaving now. So,
Okay.
goodbye.
Alrighty.
Goodbye.
Well, GG, and anything else you'd like to say before you take off?
He already took off.
Oh, fine. I see how it is.
Well, thank you, LCC, for the little soft clock exhibition, and we will continue to watch Dustsen finish his run. Oh goodness.
Yep. We see Dustin just finishing up with the Phantom Train. I did not see if he happened to suplex the train or not.
He did indeed validate his run. That means he suplexed it.
Yay! He went to Suplex City.
And now he is going on his way up to the waterfall to take a dive. I'm sure that after being on a ghost train, everybody feels very dirty and they want to just go take a bath in a waterfall.
Yeah, I know after riding a ghost train, I know the first thing I'd want to do is go jump off a cliff into a waterfall.
Here we see Dustsen fighting the mean little fishies. And he is going to attempt to get off the same Cycle Cyan glitch, also known as Retort glitch, that LCC did.
And it looks like Dustin pulls off the glitch, and there goes the waterfall. And Dustin has gone ahead and forfeited from the race.
He says, oops, and has undone the forfeit. So he's not finished yet.
Oh, no, not finished yet.
But for an update for everybody who is watching, after Dustin finishes his Sabin scenario, we will be moving over to Riku Player's stream to watch the next match. Meanwhile, I'm sure that Dustin will attempt to finish his playthrough of his race, because it would be a shame for him to just forfeit now after spending such a long amount of time trying to take care of Welk. And on Riku's stream, we're going to be watching Creative Ellie and Re Barbaluk? Not sure who the former is, the latter is, but I do know that Creative Ellie is a well-known runner of many games.
And we've got the schedule pulling up here, so give me just a moment. And it is going to be Creative Ellie versus Re Barbalute. So, yep. So, and that match starts here in just about 20 minutes here. So, and I will be switching over to do that commentary as well with Synth Pop is back, and that's again over on Riku Player's stream. So before we pop over there, let's go ahead and let's give a shout out and make sure to give these racers a follow again, and well as my co-commentator Kashura, for everyone putting on a great race today, and for the continued determination of
Mr. Dustsen.
Mr. Dustin here to keep playing after the initial problems at Welk.
Indeed, that is definitely. I know I would have just forfeited and been like, okay, well, whatever, myself. But I most certainly admire Dustin's. What's the word? Not stubbornness, but anyway,
determination.
Determination, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell that I speak Japanese too much at my workplace. His continued determination to finish this run despite all of the problems and despite knowing he's up against a player who is much better than most in this tournament.
considering after his opponent just put up a world record time in the category.
Indeed. And here we're getting our little display as to why we never want to fight Tuskers. They are not nice. And Cyan's giving Gao some dry meat, which you can probably pick up at any local fast food place. And we have gotten our Gao. And ladies and gentlemen, please once again get your kappas ready for our green kappa friend. And I don't know about you, Scratch. Not Scratch, I'm sorry. Christopher. But I love the music that plays when the Kappa is explaining how to use Gao's leap and rage commands.
Oh, the little piano solo? Yeah, that's great. It's up there in some of the best music in the game, but this game has just an amazing soundtrack, and so it's up against some pretty stiff competition.
Unfortunately, he gets a preemptive against some monsters he can't run away from.
Gotta love those no run tags.
And here they're going into the cave to find the Gao's shiny. Which is, from what we can tell anyway, a helmet with a straw on top. Oh dear. That is a solo Anguiform.
Oh, and he got the dreaded aqua rake, but he's able to run away, so he's still got a chance here. Hopefully he makes it to the cave.
All right. Come on, Dustin. We're all rooting for you.
Oh no, Pincer.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, he got the potion off. He's got a chance here.
Alright, we're rooting for you. We're rooting for you, Dustin.
Spam the good jujus. Spam them.
Give the energy.
Oh no, he took the death. Hopefully he saved. Hopefully he saved before entering the Serpent Trench.
We're about to find out.
Oh, he did. Thankfully.
Whew. He's choosing to heal Sabin here before going back in. Good choice.
Alright guys, this is Scratch Dragon here. I'm just giving everyone's a heads up here. We're going to go ahead and move over to Riku Player Stream. I highly recommend that you guys just give Dustin some energy to finish up this run. Give him a follow. Definitely give him a follow. This has been a rough run. A lot of us probably would have just GG'd out of here, but I think
I certainly would have.
it's rough. A lot of things can go wrong, and you can get tilted very quickly. And up against someone of LCC's caliber, he did an excellent job just persisting through the run. So I hope everyone will give him a follow and support as we go on in the tournament. It's not the end of his tournament career. His tournament run here. He's just moving down to the 0-1 bracket. So we're still going to see more of him. So I'm going to go ahead and move us over to Riku Player, where in the next 10 or so minutes we're going to have another race. This will be the last race of round 1. So go ahead and give Dustin a follow, give LCC a follow, give the commentators a follow, Keshura and Christopher Warkin. And my name is Scratch Dragon. If you like what you see here today, I typically play some Final Fantasy myself. This is some shameless shilling here. So hopefully,
don't be afraid to give out those shameless plugs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
And indeed, thank you everyone for all of your support today. Definitely follow Scratch Dragon. He's a cool guy.
oh, thank you very much.
For those of you who are interested in watching the rest of Dustin's run, head over to his channel before dropping into Riku's channel to give him, your support.
Yep. So.
Yep. Everyone, pop into Dustin's channel. Give him some cheers, and then join us over at Riku Player's channel to watch Creative Eli and Rebarbalut here in about 10 minutes or so, where me and Synth Pop is back. We'll commentate that run again here in about 10 minutes over on Riku Player's channel.
Yep. So
no.
So go ahead. You have one more thought.
Oh, I was gonna say this was the Final Fantasy VI Kefka at Narshe tournament. Wherefore art thou, Gao tournament.
Yep. So thanks for stopping by, guys, and good night.
Yeah. Good night. Keishara signing off. See you.